Dr. Frenkel, thank you so much for coming here. We very much appreciate you coming. First of all, let me ask you a general question. Nowadays, many politicians and economists are concerned with the state of the global economy, and their view is not particularly optimistic. As a key advisor on macro trends, could you please share your view on the outlook of the world economy?
Well, I would say that the world economy gives you a different picture, depends from where you look. If you come from Europe, your view is indeed not optimistic, in the sense that there is a long-standing crisis and the solution is still not in hand. Europe is fragmented. You have on the one hand side Germany with very low unemployment rate, with very large surplus in the balance of payments, with good economic growth relatively speaking. On the other hand, you have countries like Greece, which is growing negatively significantly. You have countries like Spain that has unemployment rate over 20%. So, in other words, Europe is not monolithic. One of the problems is that it was supposed to be following very similar rules of game. Before they joined the euro, they tried to do it, but then each one went on its own way. And as it stands now, unless they put their house in order, you will have still a lot of problems. I think that the Greek situation is very problematic. Their debt is very large, and the population is now losing the appetite to do much of the changes that need to be taken. In Spain, the banking system is still with significant difficulties. In Italy, competitiveness is also not very, very strong. In other words, there is a long way to go, and it's not going to be overnight, I can assure you. The United States, that had a very significant problem, and there was a concern that there might be double dip, seems to me has gone out of the deep end. In other words, growth in the US will be positive. It will be around 2%, nothing to celebrate, but clearly not another recession. We now have in the United States an election year, and during election period, normally the significant decisions are postponed. But once the election is over, the United States will need to address the fiscal situation. There is a large budget deficit, there is a large public debt, and there is a big debate about how to go about it, to raise taxes, to cut spending. In my judgment, unless they deal with the entitlement issues, namely expenditures on Medicare and other kind of entitlements, it will be very difficult to bring the house in order. While I was talking about Europe and the United States, other parts of the world are very positive. Asia continues to grow. China and India will continue to grow. And when people speak about a reduction in growth of China, let's keep it in mind. It's from 10–11% to 9 or 8%. That's rapid growth still. At the same time, Latin America, which was a problem continent just a few decades ago, is performing reasonably well. So the world is not monolithic. We are not going to go into a deep recession. Europe is still in a serious issue. The US will solve it after the elections.
Thank you. Talking about Kazakhstan in particular, we know that you've been here several times before. What's your general impression of this country?
Well, I must say I've been very positively impressed. Well, let's remember, what we see today in Kazakhstan was not here just 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. So everything is really very rapid. The government is committed for correct economic policies. I am now here in a visit associated with the Astana Economic Forum, and we had Investors Council today, and I just came out from a meeting with the Prime Minister, and the commitment to progress in the economic sphere is very impressive. And if there is a commitment from the top, it translates itself throughout the system. And that's what is unique about Kazakhstan today. The leaders understand that the future of the country depends on the future of the economy. And the future of the economy depends on the correct policies. As Kazakhstan has a significant potential, it is located optimally in the geopolitical sphere. It has the real opportunity to become a hub for trade and definitely for finance in Eurasia. So I am positively impressed.
Dr. Frenkel, thank you so much for your time. We are very much honored to have you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.